Hey everybody, Rob from Start Over Games here. I wanted to squeeze in one more Halloween themed video before we get out of October because I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I chose Jaws today because as a movie, it's probably one of the first horror movies I ever saw. And as this game, I actually did have it growing up. Now, this game is an LJN game, which once most gamers hear the letters LJN, they kind of freak out because almost all LJN games are dismissed as being absolutely horrible games, rip-offs of movies, just made to make a quick buck. Now, as I said, I had this game growing up. I never thought it was that bad. Even today, it doesn't seem like it's that bad to me. And that's why I kind of wanted to play it, just to show you. It's not a difficult game, it's not a deep game, it's pretty simple and straightforward, but it does do a couple things well. So this game is not based off the original Jaws. Most people thought it was, and maybe that's part of the reason it was dismissed, as it was. But this game is actually based off of the movie Jaws the Revenge, or Jaws 4. It came out in 1987. It was filmed in like 3 months. It was an absolutely horrible movie. For those of you who don't know, and most of you probably don't, the plot of the movie involves Chief Brody's wife, Ellen Brody, and their sons now grown up. And the plot of the movie, since I got time to talk about it as I'm killing hundreds of innocent jellyfish and stingrays here while trying to avoid Jaws, is as so. The movie starts on Amity Island, which is the original island where the first 2 Jaws movies took place, which is a fictional island off of New York State. Chief Brody died a couple years before the making of the movie. In the storyline, Roy Schneider was still alive when they made it. I'm sure he just didn't want to do it. Died of a heart attack. The sons are grown up. Sean, the youngest son, turned into a police officer who works on Amity Island still. Lives there with his mom, Ellen. And Michael, the oldest son, lives in the Bahamas and has become a marine biologist. You know, because the terrifying events of his childhood would definitely make me want to work in the water all day. So the movie starts around the Christmas season. Sean goes out on a boat to do something, gets attacked by a shark. Shark kills him, Ellen finds out, flips out, gets this crazy idea that her whole family is destined to be destroyed by sharks and that these sharks are holding a grudge because her husband killed the one in the first movie. No joke, that's the plot. Even for a Jaws movie, absolutely crazy. So Michael, the oldest son, comes from the Bahamas for his brother's funeral. Says, hey mom, you should kind of come live down by us. You could hang out with us. They got good music, they got good drinks, there's no sharks. Plus, the sharks have eaten everybody around here. So hesitantly, she goes down to the Bahamas, starts hanging out there. She meets a pilot named Hoagie, who drives a white plane, like you just see in the game. He basically flies people from island to island. Now, in the Bahamas, Michael has a grant to study conch, and whether it's, I can't remember if it's just tracking them or whatever, but he's always out in the ocean on a boat that looks just like this, tracking them. A couple weeks go by, everything's fine. All of a sudden, boom, the same shark that killed Sean shows up. Well, Michael sees this, and naturally he's curious about it because he's a marine biologist, but he doesn't want to let his mom know, as she knows that he knows that she will freak out. So they keep it under wraps. They're kind of studying this shark. Eventually, the mom finds out, and her granddaughter is attacked by the shark, survives, and she kind of goes on this just crazy death trip of, yeah, I'm gonna go kill the shark even if I have to kill myself. So she steals the boat with her son in it, and they form a plan to get the shark. And it's set up very much like the first movie where, they're out in the middle of the ocean on a boat. They know the shark's out there, and it's them versus the shark. They manage to plant a tracking device on the shark to show when it's near, which is what I just got at this first port here. And in the end up destroying the shark. Just about everybody lives. And that's the end of the movie, and that's the last Jaws movie they ever made. And that's what this game is based off of, that movie. Now, if you take it as it is for that, it's very good. It takes place in the Bahamas, the boats, the planes, they all look the same, the tracking device. It follows the movie pretty good compared to most not, I won't say most, but compared to a lot of games that are based on movies. Now, as far as the game goes, I hit Jaws, he randomly shows up. The game makes you go from port to port, cashing in your conch shells for power. The more power you get, the more damage you can do on Jaws. The more damage you do on Jaws, the faster his health goes down. Once his health is depleted to 0, it triggers another scene where you can actually kill him. So like I said, pretty straightforward game, not a whole lot to it. I should have tried to avoid him more, I didn't really have a chance to here. There's no way I'm going to be able to get his health down to 0, so I'm just going to avoid him and try to keep collecting shells, which I need to go to the next power level. Once we get to level 5, 6, 7, that should probably be enough to get him down, and we can take it from there. The game is a one-hit death game, so if I get hit by anything, I'm going to lose a life, I'm going to lose some shells, and I'm going to lose a power level. Which is, it's kind of harsh, but fair. You can see there, I just have 3 bars of his health gone, but there's no way I was going to get him down. This is where you don't want to be when you play this game. You want to try to avoid the shallow water. This isn't too bad with just jellyfish and no stingrays. It just doesn't give you a whole lot of room to maneuver. You want to try to stay off the bottom, too. That's where the jellyfish pop up, and you don't have a whole lot of reaction time. There's some stingrays. The bonus scenes, the way they work is for every 4 hits you get a shell. I find it to be kind of boring. They give you one, like, every 3 or 4 water stages you complete, you usually get one of these. You can control the speed of the plane. You can only drop 3 or 4 bombs at a time, or 3 or 4 bombs can only be on screen at a time. One of the biggest problems I've always had with this game is forgetting which port to go to. As we power up, the levels get a little more difficult, and they do this by adding like a zigzag pattern to some of the jellyfish, like there. They'll throw more little sharks at you, and then once in a great while you'll get a stingray that swims extremely fast. Just meant to throw the timing off more than anything. Oh, that was close. The encounters are random, so sometimes you'll be able to go from one port to another without getting hit. Other times you'll make it 2 feet and get hits, which seems to be what's happening to me right now. Hopefully after this it'll let us get back to the first port and get the power level 4. each time you level up, they take more shells. 26 is a pretty high number. I think we should be sitting pretty good. The levels don't really time out. I believe you have to defeat all the enemies before it lets you back to the boat. See what I mean about the bonus scenes? It must be every 3 shells. So they gave me 4 there. Okay. So the only other thing I really... oh, excuse me. Get a drink here quick. The only other thing I really want to cover before we get into the, fighting Jaws is there's one power-up in the game, and it just popped up over here. There's a submarine. It can randomly pop up in like one of 4 spots. It helps you out, which you'll see once we get hit again. Makes things a little bit easier. It's not something that's required to pick up to beat the game, but like I said, just helps you out. Ooh, I gotta get off of there. So yeah, it lets you move around, it gives you more control in the water, it shoots faster, it also lets you drop bombs like that. And most importantly is it gives you a hit. So if I get hit with this thing now, I'll lose the submarine, but I will still be alive, which is good, which means I don't lose one of my power levels. Wrong port. Now I'm thinking maybe one more level and we should be able to take out Jaws. And I think that's going to be the plan for right now. Oh, I lost the sub, but oh well. At least you guys got to see it. I think we have more than enough shells, so it's not going to be my #1 priority right now. Let's try to get through this as quickly as possible. Awesome. Also, if you have a turbo controller, definitely recommend using it for this game, because your finger will get sore from pressing the shoot button. There's no auto fire. And that's for the plane and when you're in the water. I think if Jaws pops up, I think we're going to go for it. Maybe if we wait right here. There he is. Ideally, a level with just jellyfish wouldn't be the best. Or it's not the best for this. They're just a little more work to dodge than the stingrays. Okay. Well, apparently, he was out of there. More shells. Oh, good, his power stayed down. And my finger is definitely getting sore at this point. It looks like we're gonna get him here. Okay. So now what's gonna happen is it triggers a different scene. This scene just loops. Jaws can't kill you. This very close to the end of the movie here. So what's gonna happen is he's just gonna keep running patterns. You want to try to line him up with the center of the boat. And then by hitting, I don't remember which button, if it's the A or the B button, will make him jump out of the water, just like the movie. And then the other button stabs him with the bow of the boat, and that's going to be it. So we're just going to wait for the right time. You get 3 tries per cycle here. If we fail to do it, he'll get his health back, and we'll have to... Okay, it's the A button to make him jump out of the water. I just hit B there. He will get his full health back, and we'll have to go and defeat him again. We won't lose power or shells or anything, so... Oh, thought that was going to be it. When he jumps out of the water, he's going to spin. He'll do like 1 360. You want to hit him in the white part, which would be his belly. And he keeps turning at the last second. There you go. So that is Jaws for the NES. Dismissed by many, I never thought it was a horrible game. Not one of my favorite games by any means. It's a quick little game. You can make out of it what you want. You know, there's score in there, so if you wanted to go for a high score, or if you wanted to see how powerful you get before you fight Jaws, you could do that too. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Happy Halloween, everyone. Get scared. That's the time of the year. This is the time of the year to do what I know I'm going to try to be and watch as many horror movies as I can. And if you like our stuff, if you haven't already, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/StarOverGames. Until next time, take care.